Welcome to our January Green Breakfast. We are excited to bring you another educational and engaging webinar in the Fairfax County community. We talk about all kinds of different subjects from plants and animals and energy and water and conserving resources. We try to cover just a little bit of everything. We hold our Green Breakfast the second Saturday at 9 a.m. of every other month. So we've got some upcoming in March, May, July, September, and November. My name is Ashley, and I've been managing this program for a little bit now. And I am your MC for today, but I will also be bringing in Trish. Trish is a new Conservation District employee. She joined us this past fall, and she is going to be taking over the Green Breakfast over the next couple of sessions.
Thanks, Ashley. Good morning, everybody. It's nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. I am thrilled to be a part of the Northern Virginia Soil and Water Conservation team and thrilled to be starting to take on the Green Breakfast with Ashley's training. I have been a fan of the Green Breakfast for years, attended them back in the day, pre-pandemic, back at Brian's Grill in person, and I'm sure I saw many of you there. I always learned a lot, had a great time, loved the networking and the interaction, and I do miss them. But here we are with this new updated version, and it's my honor to introduce our speaker today. So Neely Law has a PhD in, is a senior, but she said we didn't have to say that, but I think we should because it's hard work. She's a senior planner with the Fairfax County Office of Environmental and Energy Coordination. Neely focuses on the development, implementation, and coordination of community-facing programs as part of OEEC's climate action plans. She's the program manager for the Energy Conservation Assistance Grant Program, and she co-manages the Green Business Partners Program. Prior to joining OEEC, Neely worked in the Department of Public Works and Environmental Services and also at a national nonprofit to restore and protect local watersheds and the Chesapeake Bay. Neely and her team have put together a very informative presentation for us. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Neely.
Great. Well, good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. It's a great honor to be kicking off the 2024 Green Breakfast program with you all today. So you're in the right place if you want to do one or all three of conserving energy, saving money, or taking climate action. We're going to roll all three of these benefits into today's presentation. I have about 25 slides. It should take about 35 minutes. I'm known to go off on a tangent sometimes and dive a little bit deeper, so hang tight, and I look forward to answering any questions that you may have about the many programs and resources that are out there. This presentation really just begins to share a few of the resources that are available, and hopefully the resources that I've selected to share with you today will help you either, start your climate action journey to conserve or become more energy efficient at home or at work. That also allows you to really make a community-based impact on our greenhouse gas emissions. So before I start, I just wanted to share with you that the office that I work with, you may not have heard from. It's a relatively new office that was established in 2019, the Office of Environmental and Energy Coordination. We were established primarily to be to have a coordination role with the many county departments and agencies that address environmental issues, but also to fill a gap to address climate action planning and implementation. So the agenda, what we're going to walk through today, I'm going to begin with some 5 key takeaways rather than the end. We're all fresh, we're freshly caffeinated, and so I'd like to start off the presentation with what to look out for, so you can maybe pick from these 5 takeaways, where you may want to really focus in and grab some of these websites and links that I'll be sharing with you today. There are a lot of QR codes, so if you have a smartphone, you can get ready to grab an image of that, and it'll take you directly to the resources. But Trish will also, or Ashley will be dropping in some of these links into the chat function as well. So you don't have to be scurrying about and trying to get these web links for all these resources that I'll be sharing with you today. I'll begin with just talking and providing with some context about the Fairfax County climate plans that we have and we're working to implement progressively and accelerate action within the county government-owned facilities, as well as supporting and facilitating actions in the community. I'll highlight some of those programs by just distinguishing what we mean by energy conservation and energy efficiency and why it matters. Then go into some of those resources and provide some external programs and resources that will also help individuals, businesses, and organizations take action. So let's get started with talking about what those 5 key takeaways are from today's webinar. One is, as I just mentioned, there are many programs and resources that are available, and sometimes it's like information paralysis, right? Where do I go to get information to really become more informed to take action, but what resources are available to include incentives and rebates to help offset those costs? So I'll have some of that information for you today that are provided directly through the county as well as the federal government. Another key takeaway is that, yes, there are a whole slew of climate actions that you can take. There are no cost, low cost actions, those entryways, but once you kind of start to do those by putting in programmable thermostats, being energy conscious, turning off the lights, washing your clothes in cold water, what else can I do? And so I'm going to talk a little bit more about energy audits that can help you take that first step. It really is that individual plan or business plan related to energy efficiency. It sets you on a track from near short-term actions to a longer range planning framework that would allow you to understand, well, what resources do I need, aka money, to implement some of these higher cost items. Then lastly, sharing with you, hopefully, some websites that can act as guidance for you to understand what incentives, rebates, tax credits are available. I am an energy climate planner. I'm not a tax consultant, and so I'll provide you with those resources and answer the questions to my best ability. So the climate plans in Fairfax County address both the cause and the effects of climate change. You may have heard of being resilient, taking climate action, and in many municipalities, they roll up climate resiliency, which is addressing the impacts of climate change, along with emissions reduction in all one plan. The county, however, has separated the cause and effect planning and implementation into 3 separate plans. First, addressing the cause, so reducing those greenhouse gas emissions that are warming the climate and contributing to climate change, are addressed through the Community-Wide Climate and Action Plan, or CCAP. And that addresses the 95% of emissions in Fairfax County that are attributed to driving around in our car, operating our offices and homes, waste reduction, and other actions in the community. We also have a complementary emissions reduction plan for county-owned facilities, and that is the operational energy strategy. So we've separated emissions reduction and reporting and tracking out progress towards those reductions in these two separate efforts. Then we have a third plan called Resilient Fairfax that is addressing the impacts of climate change. You all may have heard of and have witnessed or have been impacted yourselves through increasing number of hot days or increases in inland flooding because our weather patterns or climate patterns are having more intense rainfall that is contributing to flooding. So we need to prepare our infrastructure and our buildings and our spaces in Fairfax County to be more resilient to those flooding and heat impacts. And how this all relates to energy efficiency is that almost 50% of our greenhouse gas emissions is through the operation or living in our homes or working in our office buildings. And so if we make those buildings and our homes more energy efficient by using less energy, we are in part reducing our greenhouse gas emissions that are contributing to climate change. Energy efficiency, if we improve that, we can also reduce our utility bills, thereby being result in energy savings as well. So it really is a win-win all around for taking actions to improve our energy efficiency. So if the county is asking others to take climate action, it's really important, and our Board of Supervisors see this as a priority, that we need to lead by example. If we are asking others to become more energy efficient, take climate action, we need to be doing the same. And in anything that the county is doing, a business is doing, or a homeowner is doing, it's really just a matter of scale in terms of how you apply it from your home to your business or through local government. So I just wanted to highlight a few things of what the county is doing. So for example, we have a program in our office where we are working with our county agencies that own county buildings to install solar systems. The image you have up here is the first solar installation at the Pender building. We have a list of buildings in which we'll continue to evaluate buildings and install solar on our county buildings. And that includes these office buildings, fire stations, libraries, and other county-owned facilities. We also have a program to begin to switch over our combustion-based engines and vehicle fleets to full electric battery or hybrid vehicles, as well as installing the charging infrastructure to support that. You may have seen that the county purchased its first electric trash truck in the fall. We highlighted that in a news article. Key to climate action planning is to ensure we're conserving our tree canopy by planting or through conservation. We have a community-wide goal to have 60% canopy in all of the throughout the county. We also are addressing waste through the county's zero waste plan, in which Fairfax County Public Schools is also involved. There are over 44 green buildings already in Fairfax County. through either retrofitting existing buildings, or through new building construction. This is the Pohick Library. I think it achieved a green building certification back in 2017. And this is just to note that this isn't something new the county is undertaking. They've been working on being more energy efficient and climate focused for a number of years. So we're doing all of this. So how do we know that we're progressing, that any of these actions are working in achieving our climate action goals of being carbon neutral by 2050? We have an energy dashboard where I think the county has over 500 buildings and over 2,000 billing units for county-owned facilities. So this is a live data energy use tracker. There are a number of different metrics that are on this dashboard, but this shows our energy consumption through our energy billing each year from 2016 through present day. So you can see we've just entered 2024, and it reflects the energy bills that have been collected for our over 500 facilities. Just to note, since this is a live data dashboard, that looking at the first 2 months is going to give you an incomplete picture because we haven't received all of the bills, we haven't checked and verified them. Sometimes we have to go back to Dominion and correct some errors. So taking a look at 2022 and earlier year would give you greater confidence. So I've just made that note up here. So now that's what the county is doing. And so shifting, like I said, anything that the county is doing, it's really just a matter of scale to what we can do in our own homes or in our place of business as well. So going into why energy conservation and energy efficiency and why it matters. Many times terminology gets us tripped up in terms of, well, what are you really talking about? And you make assumptions about things based on what your understanding is of a definition. So I just want to take a couple of slides to define what we mean by energy conservation versus energy efficiency. So when the county, our office talks about energy conservation, we're really talking about behavioral practices or what we can do to reduce energy consumption and use. So these are things like turning off the lights when you leave the room, washing your clothes in cold water, air drying your clothes or dishes rather than using that high heat function on a dishwasher, lowering your temperature set points. And currently, I just want to do a plug for the 2-degree challenge our office currently has for setting back your thermostat at home. For every degree that you reduce your thermostat, you can reduce your energy bill by 1 to 3%. And then, of course, unplugging your electronics to avoid vampire energy that is being used while you are not operating or using a particular piece of equipment. So energy conservation talks more about taking action through purchasing equipment or making a change or maintenance to your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning or HVAC system. And energy efficiency relates to decreasing your energy use to really achieve the same outcome. So for example, installing LED lighting would be an energy efficiency measure because rather than using an incandescent light bulb, you're using an more energy efficient light bulb, one that uses less energy, but still provides you the light needed to do your activities. Or using Energy Star rated windows and appliances, your refrigerator, your dishwasher, and the EPA Energy Star website has a whole list of products that are Energy Star certified. Then there is also replacing your heating, ventilation, and or HVAC system with a high efficiency unit or a heat pump. So those are just some key differences. I may slip up and use the terms interchangeably, but just from when we talk about energy efficiency assistance program, these are the measures that will be applicable to that funding source. Whereas energy conservation really are those no-cost items because they're behavioral. You're just changing your behavior, and it doesn't necessarily involve a cost that you would have to use to achieve that reduction in energy use. So where do I start? What else can I do? One of the 5 key takeaways was just do something. But where do I start sometimes can be overwhelming because there's so many resources available. We are hoping through our education and outreach that we will slowly become this go-to organization for people to come to understand what actions that they can take. And I took this image of a start line because there are many lanes or actions in which you can start. Or you may have already started and you are looking to do something more. So this I can be you, a business, your homeowners association, a place of worship, your business, a school, anything that uses energy itself. And so I'd like to take a few minutes to go through the importance or what an energy audit can provide you with as you look to be more energy efficient or conserve energy in your home or workplace. So an energy audit is an assessment to determine how much energy a building uses and identify ways to reduce your energy consumption, with the overall goal to become that building to become more energy efficient. Your home in general uses about 40% of the energy overall of all energy that it takes for you to live and enjoy living in your house. So this could be really a substantial impact to your energy savings. And then, of course, the impact you have locally and globally on greenhouse gas emissions reduction. So the energy audit will inform you where your building is least efficient and identify ways to become more efficient. Provide recommendations on areas in which you can fix. So the benefit of an energy audit is to really provide you with that roadmap of what I can do now, but also planning for in the longer term as well. So it's going to save you money. It can save you money from implementing measures within a few months, or more complex projects if you wanted to install solar or replace your heating and ventilation, might be 5 to 8 years of a payback period. It could also improve the function of your house as well by reducing those leaky windows or other drafts that you have in the house, and also improve the health and safety of the building that you're living or working in. So there are many different types of energy audits. Sometimes you might use the word energy assessment. That's commonly used on our website. However, there are different types of energy audit that will vary in the information that is provided as well as the cost. So I wanted just to start with benchmarking. And I'm going to provide a link to the Energy Star Portfolio Manager that would allow you to benchmark or to understand how your house, your business compares nationally to other single-family homes, to other schools, to other buildings, to other places of worship. So you can see, well, this is where I am now. What is the potential for me to improve that to become maybe Energy Star rated building. So that just tells you, how am I doing now compared to other national surveys of single family homes, townhomes, places of worship, hospitals, etc. An energy audit, or the simplest, least expensive option, is a level 1 energy audit. And this is where what I would categorize as an assessment. A level 1 energy audit or assessment may be free. Dominion Energy is offering free energy assessments to places of worship, nonprofit organizations, or they may cost as little as a few $100s. And this is where an energy professional would come through your building to identify areas in which you may become more energy efficient. It would just provide a list of actions. So it's like a grocery store list of energy efficiency of things that you can do. And it may provide you with low, medium, or high cost items. A level 2 or a level 3 energy audit is going to provide you with additional detail. It will also provide you not only with that benchmarking assessment, but it'll provide you with a complete site assessment and quantitative assessments in terms of, this is how much energy you may save by taking these energy efficient measures. That could be from programmable thermostats, motion sensors, replacing your windows, replacing your doors, replacing equipment such as your HVAC or your appliances. May also provide you with a return on investment or a payback period as well. So it really would help you, a level 2 and a level 3 audit, to help prioritize given your resources that you have available as well. A level 2 audit would cost you approximately about 20 to 30 cents per square foot of your building structure. A level 3 audit might cost you up to 50%. And these are very general estimates, as it's really going to depend on the energy service provider or professional that is coming in and what they are including in the level 2 or level 3 audit, but largely on the actual size of your building as well are going to be the key determinants for what these audits will cost you. So what will I gain from an energy audit? So let me just walk through this. So of course, it's going to help you review and prioritize those recommendations. The county or a place of worship or a nonprofit organization or a business may have specific goals that they want to work towards. Many places of worship or businesses that are sustainability minded have goals to be net zero. So they might have a goal to be net zero. So evaluating these recommendations and how it might help you achieve your goal for your building operations. This colored bar at the end shows you or illustrates that an energy audit will provide you with a wide, depending on what actions you've already taken or would like to take, can provide you with actions that are low to no cost. And you can recognize these. Some of these are conservation measures, or they're installing weather stripping around your windows, or window insulation screens to prevent those drafts coming in and out of our windows, which is going to be pretty severe this week as our temperatures go below zero, below freezing, I think, later on this week. And then we have more moderate energy upgrades that would have a return on investment of maybe 3 to 4 years. So making that investment based on those energy savings you're getting every year, you might recoup those savings in about a three-year time period. And then there are larger energy investments, such as improving your insulation or window replacement, that you're looking at maybe a 5 to 8 year, 9 year return on investment for making those energy efficiency upgrades in your home or office. So here we go. Here is our first QR code that will take you to a presentation that we held in partnership with Faith Alliance for Climate Solutions that shows you step by step how to use the Energy Star Portfolio Manager. And recall, this is one of the tools that are available to benchmark or to see how your home or building is doing relative to home or buildings of similar type nationally. And then that energy audit would allow you to take measures to improve your energy efficiency score. So then you would go back to the energy portfolio manager and say, hey, I've done this, and see how your energy efficiency score has improved by taking those actions. The information for using the energy portfolio manager is having at least 2 years of an energy bill, having some understanding of your square footage of the building and its operation. Okay, so now I'm going to spend the rest of the presentation talking about a few county programs that will help individuals become more energy efficient in your home, and then switch over to a county program for nonprofit organizations, places of worship that offer incentives to make those energy efficiency upgrades. So I'm going to start with a pretty much relatively long-standing program that the Fairfax County Public Library Office the Fairfax County Public Libraries offers, a HomeWise program that is out of our Office of Environmental Energy Coordination, take you through climate action checklists, and then the Conservation Energy Assistance Program. So the energy efficiency program that are offered through the public library, they offer resources through the Conserve Energy Kit, as well as thermal imaging cameras. You would check these out as you would through, similar to checking out a library book. I understand there is a wait list for checking out and using these Conserve Energy Kit or thermal imaging cameras. So if you are interested, these are free resources that the library offers. The Conserve Energy Kit has a kilowatt meter, so you can see how electric use or energy consumption for specific areas. They have caulking and weather stripping materials, as well as a number of other resources to identify areas in your home that can become more efficient and the products to actually make those changes. The thermal imaging camera is used with your smartphone, where you would plug in this device and use your smartphone to essentially go around your house for your windows, doorways, to see where there might be cooler areas that would be identifying, I might be heating the outside more than I'm heating my home, right? So it helps you identify where you might want to have caulking, weather stripping, or improve insulation in your house to ensure all of the heat or cooling that you want to do inside the house is as efficient as possible. Another energy efficiency program in KIT is run through our Office of Environmental Energy Coordination. It is called HomeWise. This is geared towards low and moderate income families, where our office has trained a set of volunteers to go out into the community to largely through training through tabling events. We've gone to places of worship, community centers. I think we've done a Boy Scout meeting just last week as well, where we share, the volunteers and our staff share information about how you become more energy efficient in your home. We also provide free energy HomeWise kits. I've shared here what that kit actually includes for you to take back into your home to really try out these supplies, such as an aerator, a door sweep, foam tape, LED light bulb, to see what you like, what you might be willing to invest in further to become more energy efficient in your home. One of another really exciting program and resources that we have provided to our residents are these climate action checklists. These are checklists that individuals can take themselves to improve energy efficiency, but there are also for others that focus on actions that you can do to reduce waste, to reduce your impact through transportation, how you become more resilient, and through greening our spaces through a natural resources checklist. These individual checklists are combined to one large checklist on an interactive checklist on our webpage, where it will actually tally up your energy cost savings and the impact you have on greenhouse gas emissions. And I can take you on a tour of that if you're interested at the end of the webinar. So this is what a home energy checklist would look like. These are actions 1, 2, 3, and 6 out of the 10 that are on that checklist, but it just shows you what your costs are upfront for taking that action. There are no cost items to lower to higher cost actions on these checklists. It will tell you what your estimated yearly savings will be, as well as your impact on greenhouse gas emissions, or what we call our carbon dioxide equivalent reductions. So additional resources for residents, this webpage or this QR code will take you to our resources for residents webpage, where you can access those individual checklists as a downloadable PDF or download the full interactive checklist. All right, so the last part of the webinar is going to talk about incentives and rebates largely for nonprofit organizations, places of worship, homeowners association, that can be taken through a recently updated Energy Conservation Assistance Program. This is one of the many ways our office works with the Conservation District, who is an excellent partner in sharing our resources and helping us administer and implement our program. So kudos to the district for our partnership here. So the Energy Conservation Assistance Program, it's a cost share program that was established in 2015. And in 2023, we updated that program based on lessons learned and our need to really accelerate climate action in the community. And part of that need for community organizations, places of worship, HOAs, to accelerate climate action is to provide them with the resources, both technical as well as financial, to help them implement actions. So the Energy Conservation Assistance Program is funded at $250,000 this fiscal year. Funding is available through January 30th, 2024. And homeowners associations, eligible organizations, which I'll get to in the next slide, can apply for energy audits, energy efficiency projects that I've spoken about earlier, clean energy such as solar, geothermal, installing heat pumps, things like that, as well as resilient projects such as battery backup or cool roofs. So the Energy Conservation Assistance Program is limited to a certain subset of community-based organizations in the county. And that is just limited in terms of what the local government, Fairfax County, can actually do based on their statutory authority. And so the Conservation Assistance Program is eligible to homeowners associations, condominium associations, places of worship, nonprofit organizations, or other community-based organizations. Each of these organizations are eligible to receive up to $15,000 in cost share reimbursement grants. So what that means is an organization would need to upfront the costs of installing that energy efficiency project or solar project. You would submit your receipts, and then we would give you back 50% or up to $5,000 for an energy audit. And that would be a level 2 energy audit. So that's that 20 to 30% per square foot of your building for the energy audit. Or if you are installing a renewable energy project or an energy efficiency project, you could receive 50% or up to $10,000 for the cost of that project. So if you want to install new windows, a door, a higher efficient HVAC system, you could receive up to $10,000 towards the total cost of that purchase. If you are located in an equity designated area, then you would be eligible to receive or get reimbursed for up to 75% of that project cost. What is most important for you to be eligible to receive any of these funds, you must submit an application and receive pre-approval for your project before any of that work gets done. So again, pre-approval is needed. We'd hate to see you do and go through this project with the expectation that I've done the project and now I can receive that reimbursement. You really do need to contact me through the website, submit an application, and receive approval. And that approval process should take less than 5 business days. So here are just examples and why the Board of Supervisors are very supportive of the Energy Conservation Assistance Program. Up to 2023, or when we updated the program, that the county supported up to $47,000 in energy conservation assistance grants to about 11 different organizations, from places of worship to homeowners association. And these images up here just show you examples of what type of projects were implemented and received the cost share reimbursement program. And that allowed for or resulted in over $400,000 of climate action by community-based organizations. And so through this support that the county is providing can go a long way and motivate organizations to taking climate action. Moving forward, that assistance number will increase given the increase in amount of funding we are now providing for these types of projects. So wrapping up the presentation, I just wanted to highlight other programs that are either on our website or we are working in partnership with. Dominion Energy Virginia rebate programs for commercial establishments, nonprofits, HOAs, and place of worship. If you scan that QR code, that will take you to their small business improvement program, which includes a free energy assessment, not an audit, but an assessment, that level 1 type of energy audit. They also have programs for rebates related to lighting, building automation, as well as engagement. What I hope to take away from this, that is not that you can be taking advantage of one or the other of these programs. These incentives and rebates are stackable. So if you go through the Energy Conservation Assistance Program, you would still be able to take advantage of the Dominion energy programs as well. So really understanding and working with your energy professional or Dominion Energy to really understand all the benefits that that are available to you as an organization to reduce or offset the costs of your energy efficiency actions. There is also the Inflation Reduction Act. 2 bullet points here. The one I wanted to talk about first related to community organizations and nonprofits is this direct pay for nonprofit organizations. This is largely eligible projects for the Inflation Reduction Act direct pay option. Focuses not necessarily on energy efficiency, but clean energy and electrical vehicles as types of eligible projects. You can receive 6% back after, through filing going through their application process. 6% or 30% of the total cost of your project. There is a pre-application process that you would need to submit prior to receiving that tax credit or rebate. For individuals and homeowners, there are energy efficient home improvement credits through the IRA as well for your exterior doors, windows, installations and audits and more. Then lastly, Energy Star rebates through the EPA program as well. So before you want to go out and buy an appliance or HVAC unit, take a look at the Energy Star webpage to see what rebates are available in your zip code. And before I close, one of the reasons why I wanted to start off with the energy audit is that we want people to avoid emergency replacements. So even just having an energy assessment, that low or free type of energy audit through your home or business, it allows you to understand what is the operational state of my HVAC unit. Am I going to need to invest $10,000 for a replacement next month? Is my air conditioning unit really on its end stage? And when you're doing these emergency replacements, that is really when you're going to have a high level, high cost replacement. But by doing an energy assessment and audit, it allows you to understand the state of operation and that replacement for your systems so that it really is a win-win. So you are making it as cost efficient as well as energy efficient as you improve and reduce your energy efficiency in your home. So I have taken a lot of our time this morning going through many of the programs and resources that are available to you as an individual, but also if you are part of a congregation, live in an HOA, the resources that are available for anyone in any organization to really make an impact on our climate locally, as well as in our global effort to reduce the impacts of climate change. So thank you for your time and attention this morning. Here is the last QR code of our presentation this morning that will take you to our Office of Environmental and Energy website, where we have information and resources for businesses as well as residents. And you can find that climate action checklist as well as many other resources I hope you find useful on your climate action journey to become more energy efficient. Thank you.
Thank you, Neely. That was very informative. Besides the QR codes, I think I got most of the links that Neely provided dropped into the chat, so you can scroll through and click on those. Let's open it up for questions if that's okay. P was wondering about regional cooperation, Neely. He noted that that climate change is obviously a regional, in fact, global problem. So what kind of regional cooperation does the county participate in? He mentioned the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments as an example of something that he's involved in. And he has a second question, but I'll let you answer that one first.
Great. Yeah, thank you for that question. Certainly, because climate change and emissions reduction is a global issue that we compartmentalize and scale down to the local level. And it's through our individual actions. It's through our actions as a local government. It's through our actions collectively, regionally, as a nation, that we will see the impact on our global emissions and our impact on our planet. And so it is really important that we understand how we all relate to one another. We work closely with and participate in many committees related to climate with the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments. There are a number of federal grant opportunities that are out there related to regional planning for EVs and EV infrastructure, as well as climate action planning. We're actively involved in a climate action planning grant proposal right now with the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments. We had submitted a proposal for EV infrastructure on a regional basis, as well, to ensure access to EV infrastructure that would, of course, help facilitate EV adoption as well. So hopefully that answers that question, Pete.
His second question was about cooperation with FCPS, you mentioned, and he's wondering what sort of resources there might be for educators through your office,
Fairfax
that
County
you know of.
Public Schools, right?
Fairfax County Public Schools, yes.
Yes. Part of our implementation, so in 2022 and 2023, our office was actively and feverishly developing our climate plans, Resilient Fairfax and the community CCAP, the Community-Wide Energy and Climate Action Plan. It's not only hard for you to say that, it is hard for me to say that. and so now in 2023, we were all in to implementation. Part of our implementation approach is part of dividing up the implementation work. And one of our approaches is to implement our community-facing programs with organizations that are also responsible for community programs, such as our housing office, our community, family services, as well as Fairfax County Public Schools. Last month, or in November, when we had our last meeting, we had an overview and an update about what the Fairfax County Public Schools are doing within the schools themselves to inform and educate our younger generations of environmental learners, and then how the school is tracking their energy use. So they also have an energy dashboard tracking their energy consumption as well. They are also part of the zero waste plan with the county as well. They are and will be receiving switching over to electric buses as well. They're part of the countywide operational energy strategy as well. So they're new buildings looking to be as energy efficient as possible and installing solar. So they also have a plan, and the county and the public schools are working together to track that progress. It has taken a while to figure out what is the best way to track and report and to have that coordination effort. But as I've mentioned, that is one of the primary roles our office has, to coordinate and to understand what other agencies, departments are doing to all work together to become more energy efficient and less reliant on our coal-based fuels.
Great, thank you. Reka, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, was wondering about the solar siting as far as parking lots, existing structures, retrofitting, which is more efficient, and where are they being installed, on county buildings or on FCPS buildings? And she used France as an example of
Yeah. All right.
Could you speak at all to that?
I did. Yep. I certainly can. And I'm just going to pull out some information that to give you an idea. So if I'm going to talk about, I've understood the question to be about county-owned facilities, that I can speak to that. But just to make a plug, that the permitting process, I believe the county waives the permitting fee for solar for individuals, and so there is an incentive for individual homeowners from that regard based on the county. So for county-owned facilities, our office, we have a staff member, Kevin Smith, who is part of his job responsibilities is to work with Facilities Management Division, our Office of Capital Facilities that largely run and operate county buildings and facilities. And so we have a contract with an energy service company to evaluate those county-owned buildings and to identify what energy efficiency measures can be taken to retrofit those existing buildings, as well as installing solar, and in the future amending that contract to address resiliency measures as well, to making our buildings resilient to the impacts of climate change. So that is a process. And based on each budget year, our office identifies those buildings that will be assessed. That is an ongoing basis. The Pender building that I highlighted in one of our slides was one of our first solar installations. We are also installing solar on other buildings such as fire stations through new construction as well. The county has a sustainable building policy that are much more stringent than the building standards for privately developed buildings. So we're holding ourselves to a higher standard to ensure that we meet our net zero LEED standards for our county-owned facilities as well. Installing solar on a rooftop. This is a little bit outside of my technical understanding, but this is what I know, that it is more cost efficient to put it on a rooftop. Installing it in a parking lot, you may have seen those in IKEA or other buildings. I think Disneyland has them as well in their parking lot, because it offers potential shade where you don't have trees. So there are many co-benefits to putting solar in a parking lot. However, there are additional infrastructure requirements that are needed, and it's really the cost of those materials that make it more expensive to install solar in parking lots, but it is still a very doable option. I think hopefully I answered those questions as best as I could recall. If not, let me know.
Thank you for the answer.
Did you want to, Bob asked if Solarize Fairfax was still in existence or if there was anything similar.
All right, yes. So our programming has evolved based on the products and services that are available in the county. I could probably go to our website. There, if you go to resources for residents, I'm going to see if I can talk and find the website for us. But we promote a couple of programs. I think Solarize Virginia was an older program. But we have, through our resources for websites, let's see, home energy, going solar. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully I'm going to take you to the right page. All right, so I am on our Energy Conservation Assistance webpage. And if you go to our work, you can go by topic or depending who you are, if you're a business or a resident. So if I go to buildings and energy, and this was recently updated webpage, so this may look a bit different. So there is a going solar section of our webpage. If we go there, it talks about the benefits, and it should provide links to our energy programs. Here we go. So there is Solarize Virginia. See, I already misspoke. So Solarize Virginia. This is a program name through the Local Energy Alliance program. So it is their program called Solarize Virginia that we promote. And they offer and accept applications, I think, starting in the spring timeframe. Another program that we are promoting on our webpage or sharing information with is Capital Area Solar Switch. I believe they are still active and accepting applications now. And so we provide resources to connect residents to these programs. And then this talks about the permit waive, solar permit wait, the waiver for the solar permit. All right. And that I referenced earlier. Okay. All right.
Great. John was recommending Dominion, a particular Dominion program, Dominion's Green Energy Program. And another person had a question, Margaret, about whether the free audits, assessments, rebates would be the same depending on who your energy company was, whether you're with Dominion or Novec or somebody else. Do you know the answer to that?
You would have to go to your energy provider's webpage. They're constantly updating and improving, programs for residents. They have programs for seniors, those in low, moderate income. So they have a variety of different programs for residents themselves. For commercial and businesses, when we put out the Energy Conservation Assistance Program, we're continuing to learn about Dominion Energy's programs. So they, through that Small Business Innovation Program, they will provide a free energy assistance, a free energy assessment of your building. And like I said, that's like a level 1 energy audit, not a level 2. So you couldn't apply to the Energy Conservation Assistance Program because that's a free assessment. So it's not going to cost you anything anyway. But as a result of those recommendations from that energy assessment, those actions that you would like to take would be applicable to the cost share reimbursement program the county is offering, as well as maybe other rebates through Dominion Energy.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
One is just some reflections on my wife's and my journey on getting solar on our rooftops here in Fairfax. And then I did have a question about power tool conversion to electric and whether there might be some tax incentives around that. So we're about halfway through the process. We used a third-party broker named Energy Sage, which is national. And so they hook us up with a number of estimates. I think we probably got 8 altogether estimates for solar installation. And that allowed us to narrow it down to 2 companies that we interviewed. And then we had a preferred candidate. Well, one thing we learned in all of that was if your house is at all old, you may need to update your roof first. And
Right.
it used to be that the IRS would allow you to bundle those 2 things together and take the entire thing as a 1/3 deduction in the following tax year. Now the IRS will only allow the actual cost of the solar conversion to be deducted in the following tax year. And in our case, we found that to update our roof, we also had to update our chimney above the roof line because it had broken down. So it's a 3-step process for us. And we look forward to getting the solar install done in another month or 2, and then we'll take the 30% tax rebate next year on our federal.
Okay.
One other thing for folks to bear in mind, if you're looking at converting to EV, there is a tax credit under the Inflation Reduction Act for that also, and I think it's up to $7,500, or it may be all the way up to $8,000. But I looked recently, and the IRS rules for what vehicles will qualify is extremely small.
Yes.
And any of the vehicles that we were interested in are not on it. And this is the subject of a lot of controversy on Capitol Hill. Senator Manchin and others are arguing that the IRS has been too narrow in its interpretation of Buy American. And so I would keep your eyes on that list because it's constantly changing. The IRS will change it again sometime later this year. And a vehicle that you might get 0 for could end up on the list because of the fighting over Buy American. And so just keep your eyes on that. And then I had a question for the group. We bought a very expensive lawnmower last year, which is all electric, and love it. But I'm wondering, are there any incentives in Fairfax, Virginia, or federal for conversion of power tools to electric? Anyone seen anything like that?
Yeah. So just as a note on EV, I'm a recent purchase of an EV vehicle, and the vehicle I purchased wasn't eligible for the full rebate. It was partial, but that vehicle is no longer eligible in 2024 for any rebates. However, dealers are now providing that. Some dealers are providing that equivalent to incentivize EV purchases as well. So you may not get that reduction through a tax credit, but some dealers may be offering that through the reduction in the purchase price as well. So something to definitely do your research on your vehicle purchase beforehand. To your question about the types of rebates that might be eligible, one of the resource links that I've provided the Conservation District with is this IRS fact sheet. And, as a homeowner myself, any purchase that we might be making to replace or upgrade in our house, I would need to go to this fact sheet and website just to see what is currently available. Because as you've mentioned, Bob, what was available in 2022, 23, and 2024 may have changed. So before you make those purchases, do your research. And hopefully the resources we've provided you with today, you'll have that more accessible. So the energy efficiency, this is the website. So I think just going through, clicking on these links to identify what is, I don't know offhand if that type of equipment would be reimbursable. I know it is a topic of community conversation about gas-powered lawn care equipment, and that the county is taking some action related to that as part of maintenance of county facilities. So sorry, I don't have a yes, no answer to the type of rebates, but hopefully through the resource here that I don't know if Trish or Ashley, you dropped that link in the webpage, that it can provide you with the most up-to-date information.
I just want to agree really quickly with the electric lawnmower, quieter than the gas,
Right.
and less polluting. Suburban life, the gas powered lawn equipment drives me insane. The incentive that you were talking about, or the legislation you were talking about, Neely, was just for county owned. So for maintenance on county property with the gas powered equipment, it's not going to touch on all of the private companies that use the gas powered leaf blowers and such.
Right. I mean, it all goes back to the legislative authority Virginia localities have versus our neighbors in Maryland. You know, it's not an apples to apples comparison. Jurisdictions in Maryland, so your county equivalent like Montgomery County, they are able to institute or enact legislative authority much more easily than local governments in Virginia that need to request that permission at the state legislature level. And so it's a different type of governments in our among the states, you know, throughout. And so, but we can learn a lot, I think, through our neighbors, you know, in Maryland in terms of, you know, what they are doing. It's just a different process for the Fairfax County and other local jurisdictions in Virginia to do something if it's not already a power that's given to them. So anyway, a little bit of a political lesson there.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Bob.
Okay. Well, it's actually a couple of things. First, I want to say we did solarize our house a few years ago through Solarize Fairfax, and we're able to get the prices that they were getting for the. So we did that last year, year ago now, 2022. We actually got a zero electric bill between the solar and these SRECs, which give you additional money. So that's something people can look into. This year, the 2023 was a very cloudy year, so we didn't come anywhere near there. Number two, we own several rental properties, townhouses. One of them, the first one I did when we started out, and we had a super retrofit, you know, where we didn't do windows or doors, anything like that. It was what they could do in one day. But they came in, measured the air changes. When they started out, it was 23 air changes a day in this little townhouse, 3-bedroom townhouse. And when they finished, it was 13 air changes a day. Now that's huge. You know, that's like half of the electric costs, half of the heating costs, I mean. I've had all kinds of really incredible experiences. Somebody who moved out of one of my townhouses to one that they bought, and their energy cost tripled. And they said, who was it you had do your energy retrofit? It was Edge Energy. There was another thing that happened because townhouses have been built in this area with air gaps between the townhouses. But townhouses, the air gaps were not sealed at the ceiling level, at the attic level. So number one, all the cold air from the attic is coming down into the townhouse. So it's not helping at all with energy. Number two, it's not a fire gap anymore. I had a fire in one of my townhouses, and because the energy retrofit discovered that and sealed those connectors, those places in the attic, which were about, you know, maybe 6 inches wide and the width of the townhouse. Because they sealed those, only my townhouse burned, not the other 7 in the batch. So this is something, the kinds of things that we have discovered have been amazing. And it's too bad that as landlords, we can't have rebates for our solar, but for putting solar on rental properties. But we have had really incredible experience with solar, with retrofits. It's worth every penny.
Great. Well, I just put in a chat that I would love to follow up with you just to hear more about your story and experiences. One of our communication models, at least that we're having, is this peer-to-peer learning. That who wants the government to come into your home to say, this is what you need to do, right? And that is not our approach at all. We want to bring awareness and to people about everything that you have been doing. And so we really want to promote through our Climate Champions initiative that peer-to-peer learning. And there are a number of videos that we have about personal adoption of individuals' personal climate action journey, so that you're learning from another, you're learning from your neighbor, you're learning from another business or an organization, and who are experiencing, the things that you are, and can perhaps answer your questions better than us, who this is our intent of our program. But so it would be really helpful if we could connect. And
I know that Margaret had to jump off, but I just wanted to take a moment to share the event that she was talking about. Plant Nova Natives is going to be holding their 2nd annual Native Plant Conference on March 8th. It's for Spanish-speaking landscape professionals, and it's co-sponsored by us, the Conservation District, the Fairfax County Park Authority, Audubon at Home, and then, of course, Plant Nova Natives. The link to join or to learn more is in the chat, and if you have anyone in your life that you can share that with, or if you can promote it through your contacts, that would be great. This program is also going to be talking about some of those things that we were just talking about, like the lawnmowers and the leaf blowers, and how to make those more energy efficient, which also helps to cut down on air pollution, as we've noted in the chat and in conversation. They are definitely quieter, a little bit easier to manage for the surrounding community and things like that. So I just wanted to share that program since Margaret had to jump off a little early.
yeah, they're a terrific organization. Yep. Okay.
I think that is just about all we've got from now. Neely, are you all right if people send you an email with follow questions or anything like that we might not have been able to address today?
Yes, absolutely. And if you do not hear from me within 1 or 2 days, just please hit resend. Some days and weeks are crazier than others. So just keep trying. And then also the general inquiries at OEEC info at fairfaxcounty.gov. There are more eyes on that email as well. So I hope our office receives some additional inquiries or hits to our webpage. Please sign up for our newsletter and take that 2-degree challenge.
Thanks, Neely. I'll turn it over to Trish if you want to unmute and give us our last note, and then we'll close out for the day.
You are muted, Trish. Yes.
That was bound to happen. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Neely. That was a very informative, wonderful presentation. And join us next time. Our next Green Breakfast will be in, what month is it? January, February, March for Native Plant Talk. So thank you all very much and have a great Saturday.
Great. Take care and thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Have a great one.
Bye.
Thanks, Neely. That was a great presentation. Thank you.